Hello students, welcome to the session. Our topic for today's session is very interesting, which is Earth, Sun and Moon. The objects that we see in the sky are called as heavenly objects. Let us understand our chapter and start with the solar system. The Sun and the 8 planets that revolve around the Sun form the solar system. The satellites, asteroids, meteoroids, etc. are also the part of solar system. The Sun is at the center of solar system. There are 8 planets that revolve around the Sun. They are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. They revolve around the Sun in a fixed path called as orbits. Let's understand about our planets. The first comes up Mercury. Mercury is the smallest and closest planet to the Sun. Next comes up Venus. Venus is the hottest planet. It is also the brightest planet. Next comes up Earth. Earth is also called as blue planet. It is the only planet where life exists. We all live on the planet Earth. Next comes up Mars. Mars is also called as red planet. Next planet comes up Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet on the solar system. After Jupiter comes up Saturn. Saturn is the second largest planet on the solar system. It has rings around it and that is why it is also called as ringed planet. Next comes up our Uranus. Uranus is the coldest planet of the solar system. Last is the Neptune. It is the farthest planet from the Sun. Let us move forward and understand about the center of our solar system, which is the Sun. Sun is a huge ball of gases. Do you know its size is about 100 times more than the planet Earth? Hydrogen and helium are major constituents of Sun. The Sun has a thin outer layer called as corona and an inner layer is called as core. At the core of the Sun, hydrogen continuously converted into helium. Very large amount of heat and energy is released by Sun and that is called as solar energy. All living things on the earth ultimately depend upon the solar energy. Next comes up Earth. Earth is the third planet from the Sun. It is the only planet where life exists. The surface of the earth is covered by a blanket of air called as atmosphere. Atmosphere protects us from harmful UV radiations of the Sun. This is the image of earth from the space. The earth is further divided into 3 layers. They are crust, mantle and core. This is the interior structure of the earth. The outer layer of earth is called as crust. The continents and oceans are on this layer. It is made up of hard rocks and constitutes all the essential things that made up life. The next layer is mantle. Mantle consists of 2 types of rocks, hard rocks and molten rocks. The outer layer of mantle consists hard rocks and the inner layer consists of molten rocks. During volcano eruptions, molten magma comes out of the surface from this layer. And the last innermost layer is core. Core is made up of iron and nickel. It is mostly in the liquid state. The core extends up to 3400 kilometers. Next comes up Moon. A heavenly object that revolves around a planet is called as satellite. Satellite can be of 2 types. Natural satellite and artificial satellite. Satellites which naturally exist are called as natural satellites. Satellites which are man-made are called as artificial satellites. Moon is the natural satellite of planet Earth. Moon revolves around the Earth. It has a distance of about 384,000 kilometers from the Earth. The moon has no light of its own. It shines because the reflection of sunlight. The moon is almost spherical in shape and there is no atmosphere on moon. That is why it is very hot during the day and very cold at night. The surface of the moon has a lot of craters. As you can see in the picture, this is the surface of the moon. This is found when huge rocks called as meteoroids hits the surface of moon. There are a lot of mountains on the surface of moon. Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on moon. There were several unmanned human missions also on the moon, which contains lot of information about the surface of the moon through photographs. Chandrayaan-1 was the first Indian unmanned mission to the moon. Next comes our phases of a moon. You must have noticed moon changes its shapes. Sometimes it is like a round ball, sometimes it is like a C, and sometimes it disappears completely. This is because we see only that part of the moon that reflects sunlight to it. This is called as phases of the moon. Next comes up eclipse. Eclipse is a natural phenomena in which one heavenly body becomes temporarily invisible or hidden. It happens when three heavenly bodies comes in a straight line. Why this happens? This happens because the rotation and revolution of Earth around the Sun. This causes two types of eclipse. They are lunar and solar. Let us first understand lunar eclipse. When the Earth comes between Sun and Moon, this is the situation of lunar eclipse. You can see in the picture, the Earth is between Sun and Moon. Here, the shadow of the Earth falls on the Moon, which is causing lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse can be partial. Sometimes a part of the moon is visible, or other times the part is also not that visible. The time and duration depends upon the position of the moon in the orbit. Next comes up solar eclipse. Solar eclipse takes place when moon comes in between the sun and the earth. Have a close look on the picture and understand moon is between the earth and the sun. This is the situation of solar eclipse. Let us understand the importance of solar eclipse. Solar eclipse enables us to study the outer layer of the sun called corona, which is very difficult to understand because the brightest rays of sun. We must cover our eyes with dark glasses to protect us from ultraviolet rays. Next comes up effect of eclipse on the earth. The rise and fall of earth's water, for example in oceans and seas, is because of the gravitational force of the moon and some extent of sun, which is called as tide. In sea, water rise and falls twice a day. The effect of moon gravity is more than the sun's gravity because the moon is closer to the planet Earth. When the sun, moon and earth are in straight line, very high tides are seen called as spring tides. The combined force of gravity of sun and moon brings high tides. When the sun and moon are at right angles to each other, we get very low tides called as neap tides. They usually occur twice a month. So students, we understood about spring tides and neap tides. Spring tides are high tides, neap tides are low tides. That's all for this session. I hope you understood about the planets, sun, moon and earth, and it was as interesting for you.